Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors, your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. I'm glad to hear this morning. Got a big show lined up, a special guest here in the studio. But first, our weather brought to us by Haney Technical Center at the corner of Baldwin and Highway 7 and 7. Today is December the 1st. It's hard to believe that 11 months have passed by. This is the last month of 2015. So I know everybody's getting ready to do all your Christmas shopping and all that. We talked about it last week about some of the good ideas for outdoorsmen. And most of those 20 items I talked about, I looked at them again, and most of them are under $100 for the outdoorsman. So keep those in mind. We'll talk a little bit later on, too, about some other gifts and all you can get. But first, let's get our weather again. Like I say, high today is only going to be 76, and the low is going to be 63. So we're still in this really fall weather. And the water temperature is 71. I got calling for some rain tomorrow, and it's going to cool off a little bit, but it's not going to get really, really cold, but it will be a cooler snap coming in. The river readings, Apalachicola to Bluntstown reading a 9.9, right at 10 foot, and it has dropped out some, and it looks like it's going to just stay level for the rest of this week. Chartacha Caryville is a 6.7. It's made a good steady drop, and both of those rivers in good shape right now, sort of calming down a little bit after all the stuff we had last week. Our river reading brought to us by Watson's Landing Marina and Dry Storage, right there 2 minutes east of Harrison Avenue on Business 98. Run by and check out a really nice place there. All right, let's take a look at our tide chart. The tides today, December the 1st. We got some decent tides today. Now this weekend, we know we're always looking ahead to the weekend. This weekend not looking really strong, but today we have a high tide at 12:03 this morning, and a low tide at 10:43 this morning. Got a 1.6 foot range, and it's brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn Funeral Home and Cemetery. And our marine forecast, really all they're calling for is variable. When they call for variable, that just not much is happening there, so there's not a lot going on. Again, I say water temperature is 71 degrees, and they did catch some pompano over the weekend in the surf. I got some good reports on that. All right, let's take our break, and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back, and welcome to Officer Travis Basford. Good morning, Travis.
Good morning.
Okay, good to see you, buddy.
Good to be back.
Well, listen, we're wrapping up Thanksgiving. I was talking to you on the phone last night, and we had everybody had a great Thanksgiving, but yours was special, I think. So tell us about it.
It sure was. Yeah, we obviously got with the family and had some turkey, but we do something we do every Thanksgiving, especially around Christmas too. Our family, we all get up and go hunting up there in Jackson County. My family has some land northeast of Marianna, and it was me, my dad, my uncle, my cousin, and my sister out hunting basically Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And my sister bagged her first. I got to brag on my little sister, Casey. She went to Mosley, I know, as a student, and she bagged her first real nice whitetail.
That is cool. Before we get to the picture, let's talk about Casey. Casey was a good athlete in high school. A great kid, always had a smile, and I really enjoyed watching her come through. And then she went into law enforcement. And she was the Border Patrol first, or?
She did, yes. She graduated from Mosley, then Florida State, and then she hired on with the U.S. Border Patrol, did some time in South Texas and New Mexico, and then up in Montana for 2 or 3 years. And then she kind of got homesick and wanted to come back to Florida. Just like a lot of things, you don't know how good it is until it's gone. And same thing with me, going to South Florida. And she came back to Northwest Florida about a year and a half ago. She's with Florida Department of Law Enforcement over in Tallahassee.
Okay, so it wasn't a long drive to get back to the family farm then for Thanksgiving.
It was a long way.
Okay, so listen, tell us about this buck that she took.
Well, we got up Saturday morning. I walked her. We were actually hunting pretty close together, so I walked her in, got her set up, and I was just about 300 yards from her and said, hey, usually they come out, to the north here and sometimes to the east. And I got set up 15, I'd only been standing maybe 15 minutes. I got my face mask on, and she pops up, And she sends a text. We have a group text, everybody in the hunting party. And she said, I just shot at a monster buck. So I said, all right, call me. So she calls me, and she had buck fever.
I was excited.
She was shaking and could barely talk, and she said, it's a monster, it's the biggest one I've ever seen. And I said, all right. I said, calm down, tell me what happened, And he said he come out quick and he was looking right at me and I had to shoot. And I said, well, were you on him? You know, did you? She goes, yeah. And she said she was actually shaking so bad, the crosshairs were going from the deer off. And she said, but she waited and she gathered herself. She said, I'm not going to shoot at it, you know, if I can't zero in there. So she took a few breaths, gathered herself, and then put it right where it needed to be, squeezed the trigger off. And she says, I just don't know. He ran off so quick. You know, I said, well, it sounds like you did good. I said, how close was he? And she says, he was like 50 yards right there. So I said, okay, well, just sit tight. Let's give him some time. And so we waited a little longer. And the goal that day, I mean, obviously, if a big buck comes out, we're going to take it. But it was doe day. And we were going to try to take some does. And I guess all the does got the email that not to come out because we had been seeing them Thursday and Friday and then it come out. And then finally one came out and I was able to take a doe. And we went over to look for her deer. And it wasn't actually 50 yards. It was 100 yards where she shot. But the deer was so big and she was, you know, nervous, obviously, that she misjudged it. So it took us a while to find it, and then we actually walked up on it, and I got my dad and my cousin over there and told her, I said, hey, we got the deer over here. Let's let her walk up on it. And they actually videoed, my cousin videoed her reaction walking up on the buck. Man, it was just a special time, and she was so, so excited.
I know that sounds like just a lot of fun and all. When your family's out there and doing that, and of course I get tickled when you say, you know, she got a little nervous and all the training she's had with weaponry and all that, but you still, that big buck walks out, you're going to get some buck fever. I don't care who you are.
Exactly, and it's going to get your heart pounding, your blood going, and if it doesn't, then why are you getting up at 4 in the morning anyway, you know, and freezing on a deer stand? But yeah, she was shook up.
So here's a picture here. That's a great picture there, and that's a fine shot now. She well-placed shot.
She did. Okay, she did good.
And what about this picture?
That's back there. We're getting ready to clean them and quarter them up, and just got a picture of both of us there with both deer.
That's some good deer meat.
It is, I think.
You can tell brother and sister now.
Oh yeah, and I think that's only the second time we both killed a deer in the same day. So that was pretty neat, and you can see from the smile on her face, she was ecstatic to get that buck.
Well, you tell her that Coach Chester said congratulations. I'm proud of her.
I'll do it.
I know she's excited. She's got a story to tell now back when she gets back to work.
Oh, gosh. She's already told everyone on the internet, I think, Facebook and everything else.
Well, that's cool. That's cool. Let's go ahead. And I love, you know, we show pictures all the time. I love showing pictures. But when you have that story to go along with the picture, and then especially when it's with family and friends and all, it just makes it more special when it does that. So,
it is.
Good story. Well, I'll tell you what, let's go ahead. We'll take our break and then come back and talk about some FWC stuff. All right, welcome back. Here with Travis and his family's had a farm in Jackson County for how many generations?
Oh, shoot, we've had that land since the early 1900s.
Early 1900s. And we talked about, this is a great point. We were just talking about this, how in the early days when you were even growing up, y'all didn't see a lot of deer. But your dad and the family started managing. Tell us what happened.
They did. I mean, growing up, we would hunt these same areas. We're talking about all the family get together. We'd hunt Thanksgiving, around Christmas, and into January. And we would go, you know, these 4 days over Thanksgiving, we might see 1 or 2 deer. And I was telling Winston before we got started, I went Friday, I saw, and it's the most I've ever seen, I think, in one day in Florida. I saw 20 deer in one day. And that just goes to show you the difference. My cousin does a real good job up there, you know, planting the food plots. We have trail cameras, we're monitoring, and we're taking our does, and then we're harvesting bucks over 2.5 years old or older.
Yep.
And that's a rule we've done now for like 8 years. And the past 3 or 4 years, we really see it paid off. We see so many more deer, and we're harvesting, as you saw from my sister's buck, a lot more quality deer.
Yep.
And it works. You know, I mean, we've seen it. It did take a few years to get it going, but man, I mean, it really works. I mean, just everything we see now. You know, turkey. We see the deer. We see, you know, all the birds, the ducks and quail and dove. I mean, we really, you know, reap the benefits of managing that property.
Management. Very good. Very good. Okay, and what else? You got some fish stuff, or what was that?
And on that note, I've got some fish stuff here in a minute. I want to talk about one. I had a question on deer the other day, and you know, we just had our 4 days of general gun open Thanksgiving, that Friday, Saturday, and Sunday following it, and we had antlerless deer days, or doe days, for both deer management unit 1 and 2. So we're in zone D. And, you know, 1 is going to be south of I-10, 2 is north of I-10, and that's from, you know, the state line in Escambia County all the way east to Leon and Gadsden and Wakulla. But anyways, to make a long story short, what I want to talk about these doe days. Okay, For south of I-10, we just had 2. There's going to be 4 total. The next 2 are going to be December 26th and 27th. That's a Saturday and Sunday after Christmas.
Okay.
So a lot of people are out of work and school, and they want people to be able to take advantage of that season. Now, north of I-10 in Deer Management Unit D2, it's going to be December 5th and 6th. That's the first weekend of muzzle-loading gun season. So black powder hunt, that'll be another set of doe days up there. That's a Saturday, Sunday. The 19th and 20th, that's a Saturday and Sunday before Christmas. And then the same as the one down here, the December 26th and 27th, the weekend after Christmas. So a total of 8 for north of I-10, a total of 4 for south of I-10. And I got this question the other day. You know, we all know that the bag limit for deer is 2 per day, okay? But during our doe days or antlerless deer season, only one of those can be an antlerless deer.
Right, okay.
So you can't take 2 does in one day if you're going under the doe day. You know, a lot of people get that mixed up, and I've had questions on that. And I just want to clear that up. So you can have either 2 bucks or you can have a doe and a buck if it's antlerless deer season, but you can't have 2 does on those doe days. Another thing, too, is during archery season and the first phase of crossbow, you can. Okay, that's only during bow season, so it can be kind of confusing there, but we're already past that now. So during gun season, again, only 1 doe a day during an antlerless season.
Okay.
All right. So I wanted to clear that up.
Clarified. In bobcat season, there is a season of bobcats.
There is a season on bobcats. Okay. You know, I'll tell you a little quick funny story. My uncle, he had one come out last year, and he texted me, he said, "Is bobcat, season in?" I said, "Hold on, and I said, "No, it's not. Do not shoot that bobcat." A lot of people think, coyote, possum, raccoon, they're year-round. Okay, but we do have a season on bobcat, and it's actually going to open today.
December 1st.
December 1st, and it's going to be open until March 31st. A lot of people don't know that. So it's bobcat and otter have the same season, and a lot of people like to get them.
A lot of people think it's year-round.
They do, and I've seen people do full mounts of them, trying to catch a bird or whatever, and then some of them just get the pelt. But that's important to know. Fall turkey's in.
All right.
Okay,
yes.
That opened for 4 days to coincide with general gun season, and it's going to open back up for muzzleloader season to coincide with the deer season, December 5th through 11th, and then during general gun, December 12th, all the way through January 17th, and that's when it's going to stop for, and that's bearded or gobblers only, just like in the spring.
All right, now you were up there around Deer Point Lake, and you were checking the opening of a duck season. It sounded like it was a good one, you said.
It was a real good one on Deer Point. That's the most popular freshwater spot we have here in Bay County, and they killed a lot of birds, and it was a variety.
Yeah.
We had the usual crowd of the ringnecks and wood ducks, a few teal, but there were some gadwalls that were killed. We even had some redheads and bluebills on the lake, which usually that's a bay duck, but sometimes they will come on the lake, and had a lot of limits and a lot of hunters out there that opened Saturday and Sunday. So duck season was good on the freshwater from what I heard, but the saltwater was kind of slow. It's still so warm.
Yeah,
it hasn't pushed a lot of those diver ducks down on the bay. Saw some limits of buffleheads, but not many redheads and bluebills. You see the thousands out there that usually get up later in the season. Duck season, that first phase, that was November 21st through the 29th. Second phase is going to open the second Saturday in December.
Okay.
That's going to be December 12th, and that'll run through the end of January. And that'll be our duck season.
That's the main body of duck season. And it'll be a lot colder, hopefully, by then.
Hopefully so. Hopefully so. And then I'll touch on this. It's kind of winding down. Dove season, we're still in the second phase. It is still open until December the 7th, okay, and then that will close, and then we'll have that third phase to get any migratory birds there. It's going to open the 12th, and that'll be up until January 15th. I know that one doesn't get hunted near as much as the first 2 phases.
Right.
But those are the dates on that.
Your field reports you saw, did you pretty good dove season, or?
It was pretty good. Pretty good. The first phase, and I did talk to one guy that hunted the second phase up in Jackson County, and it was so-so. I think he killed 7 or 8.
Yeah.
But it's just like the bird hunt. It's hit or miss.
Yeah. What about now? You're out on the water all the time and all. What about your red tide? Are you still seeing a little bit of red tide?
We are seeing it, and we get a report every week from myfwc.com. You can sign up for the newsletter or the emails. And the last one I saw there at the end of November, we still had low concentrations of that algae bloom in Gulf County, Walton County, Okaloosa County. but bay still had some high concentrations. And it's so hit or miss. I mean, I'd go on the bay and, you wouldn't see or smell the dead fish, and people would be catching fish, and then you'd go, just a mile or two away, and there'd be fish everywhere. And then I've heard a lot of people that just, walking down the beach, they'll see some fish, and they'll get that irritation, scratchiness in their throat, and then they'll walk down a little more, and it'll be clear. I know the state park there in mid-November, it was so bad, we had campers leaving because it was getting so many people sick. That was when it was real bad. I think it's on its way out. I hope it is. Because that sure can devastate a fishery. I don't think it's got us as bad as it did years ago, but Mexico Beach, Crooked Island Sound, and then all the St. Andrew Bay system and along Bay County, especially even on the Gulf side, they took a pretty good hit over the past month.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, we're going to take our final break. We got some good cases of the month, right?
Yes, sir.
Some good stories.
Always.
All right, we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Here with Travis from FWC going over all kinds of good information. But first, let's get our fish and game forecast brought to us by Mark Coward of Counts Real Estate. Looking at 2 times today. Checking it out this morning, 4:20 to 6:20, and then this afternoon, 4:43 to 6:43, right before dark. That's 2 good times right there if you get a chance to get out. All right, let's. You mentioned something too about.
One more thing. I mean, this saltwater stuff. It's very fluid. It changes all the time. So. Look in your regulations, go to myfwc.com, and if you're going to fish federal waters, obviously go on National Marine Fisheries and check your seasons, bag limits, size limits. One thing I talked about, I think on the last show, was that greater amberjack closed in federal waters, and that was at the very end of September. The state did not mirror that until November 21st, so it just recently closed in state waters too. And but the good news is that they do these closures and stuff, and they're going to reopen to help the fishery, and we talked about the size limits and the maturity rate of the females and all. They're going to reopen both state and federal and get those to mirror each other January 1st, 2016, 12:01 a.m.
Okay.
So through the end of the year, amberjack's closed both state and federal, but they're going to open up January 1st, and then hopefully we'll just have that 2-month closure in the summer, and then it'll be open the rest of the year.
Good deal. Okay.
So
all right.
Remind everyone on that. I know most people are in the woods, but we do still have a lot of fish out there, And I know you had a good report of some flounder and pompano too. So.
Well, I said late fall run. We're still in the late fall run. So we got some bad guys, huh?
We do always.
Maybe not bad. Maybe not real smart guys.
Always keeping us busy out there. We got several. I'm going to talk about one in particular because it is deer season. It was a deer case made by Officer Jared Molnar over in Okaloosa County. But also in Okaloosa County, we had some good fish cases. Officer Pfeiffer and Corbin, they got some guys with some undersized red snapper in the closed season. We have a lot of undersized juvenile red snapper around our bridges.
Yeah. And
here in Bay County, Hathaway, DuPont bridges, they hold juvenile red snappers. So know your size limits, know what you're looking at. And it's definitely closed right now and has been closed for a while. They got some guys with that, and then Officer Bartlett was over there. He got a guy with 8 undersized speckled trout over there in Chattahoochee Bay, and that was a good case. We had a night hunting case over in Liberty County that was made. So it's been busy, and the one I wanted to really talk about, Officer Jared Molnar, he used to be my shift partner down in Palm Beach. We worked together. Now he's up here in Okaloosa, and I'm in Bay County. He was working opening weekend of General Gun over in Eglin. And they've got thousands and thousands of acres over there. They've got dog area, they've got still area, and archery. And he was in the dog hunt area. He stopped a hunter that morning, and the hunter was kind of nervous. He said, "Yeah, we've killed a 3-point." And he said, "Okay, well, where's your deer at?" And he goes, "Oh, it's right in here." And he kind of sensed he was pretty nervous. Another guy pulls up. He's checking licenses and their management permit. And that guy's real nervous and said he had to leave to go catch his dogs. And Officer Molnar said, "No, you're not going to leave until we get done with this inspection here." So he's trying to figure out what's going on. He said, "Well, where's y'all's deer at?" And he goes, finally, he gives it up and said, "Well, it's right here." Well, it wasn't a 3-point. It was a little bitty, spike buck.
Oh, man.
And we've had that rule now for a couple years. We've educated a lot of people on the antler restrictions south of I-10, which that Eglin falls into that. It's got to have 2 points on one side or more to legally harvest the buck. And it didn't, and the hunter knew it didn't. That's why it was kind of him hauling around. So he was issued a citation for possession of undersized whitetail buck. And, it's something that we want to educate the public. You know, we want everyone to get out there in the outdoors and enjoy it. But this is something that's been going on for a while. This was an experienced hunter.
Yeah.
He lied about it, and so a citation was issued on that. So just, you know, it just takes a few more seconds to confirm, depending on what zone you're in, if it's going to meet that requirement. And Florida's not the only state with antler restrictions. I mean, there's several states, several southern states that have that. And the whole goal is to improve the deer herd. You know,
and it will improve. You just give it time, and everybody, you know. But we always got some of those scallywags that just want to take whatever they see.
Exactly.
And,
so
that's good that y'all busted them on that. And it was go over the rule again, south I-10, and
Sure. South of I-10, it's got to have 2 points on one side or more, and a point is going to be measured. It's got to be at least an inch long. That's not too big. And then north of I-10, 3 on one side or bigger, 3 points on one side or bigger, and north of I-10, also if it has a main beam of 10 inches or more. So a lot of people say, well, I got these cow horn spikes, and I want to get it out of my herd. Well, you can take a cow horn spike north of 10 if it's got a main beam of 10 inches or greater. So those are the two rules, and it just takes a little bit more time. You know, before, I guess you'd see a buck and it was 5 inches, and you see a buck, you got 5 inches, and a lot of people want to shoot, and now it just takes a little bit of time to just count some points and take that time to do it legally.
Well, good. And how about Nicole's been busy, or your wife and all?
She sure has. She was, I was talking to you earlier, she was at the jetties yesterday and made a good redfish case out there, oversized, the big bull reds, you know how they get in the pass. And they've been catching a lot of them, and this was another experienced fisherman, and he kept one of them giant reds, and so she caught him doing that. And you know, right before that, she was actually writing a warning for some undersized snapper, mangrove snappers, some people that weren't from the area, and then this guy came up with the redfish and knew the slot limit, you know, and had fished here since he was 14, and I guess he just wanted to try his luck and try to sneak one by. So.
Well, good for her. Y'all both working hard,
sir.
protecting our resources. Well, thank you, Travis. Appreciate you coming on. And,
Always a
we'll
pleasure.
See you next month.
Yes,
okay.
sir.
Folks, thank y'all for watching Panhandle Outdoors. We appreciate the viewership. You do something good for your fellow man today, and God bless.
Thanks for joining us for Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors features hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.